Welcome, this is John with thenetguy.com, and I do tech reviews, PC builds, and mods, and today I'm actually going to do something a little interesting. I'm going to show you how you can repair technology. Maybe you're getting a really good deal on something that needs a fix, or maybe it's your own and you want to save a little bit of money, not take it to the shop. In this case, I have a laptop, an Asus laptop. It's got a bad power port on it, and I'm going to show you how you can replace those. This one's even soldered onto the motherboard, but we're going to go ahead and take care of that. I'm also going to show you some of the tricks that I use to never lose a screw. And it's very, very simple. You'll never misplace a screw, and you'll never put the wrong screw in the wrong hole, potentially damaging your device. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. If it's your first time here, I hope you wait till the end of this video and then decide if I've earned your subscription. If you have, shoot me a comment as well. I'd love to hear about it. This video is a little bit longer than usual, but you guys have said that you appreciate that I don't hide any of the details, I don't hide any of the steps that I do. But to make it easier, I've put time codes in the description. Feel free to jump forward or back if you decide you want to watch a section again. Now on to the show. Hey, it's John with thenetguy.com, and today we're going to look at Brenna's Asus laptop. Brenna is my stepdaughter, and she came to me the other day, and what was the problem?
The problem was it wasn't charging on its own, and I had to hold the charger at a certain position for it to actually charge.
So you had to hold it and push it in. Mm-hmm. Now that can be commonly a few different things. It can be the end here on the probe, or it can be the socket on the laptop. We're going to try a few things. I'm going to show all the tips that I know. A couple of people have commented they really appreciate that I go through every step. And so we're going to go every step that I would normally do to fix this, and I'm going to let you do some of the work. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So a couple of things you're going to need to do this job. Obviously a good set of tools. And this is a PC toolkit that I use. You can find these in the video description. I'll put some of the better ones. There's a lot of little tiny screws. I like to work on a mat or something like this that will hold the parts. And then this is a magnetic parts dish. Now you don't want to put this near computers because magnets, computers, no good. Erases things. But we'll put the parts either in here, or I'm going to show you another special tip if you're just starting out and you're not sure what size of screw goes in which hole. I'm going to have you help me do a little trick here that's good for beginners. So we'll put that over here. Very first thing we need to know is the charger bad? So is this bad or is the computer bad? And the way we test that is with a multimeter. So this unit, we're going to put it on to volts, DC, and we're going to use one probe in the center and one on the outside. The black one usually goes on the outside. As you can see, this is plugged into the wall over there. 19 volts and 19.15 volts. So a little over 19 volts, and that's what it's supposed to have. Now I'm going to wiggle the edge here, wiggle the cord like you were saying, because you were saying I had to wiggle this a lot to get it to work.
And I had to push on it.
Push on it, and it's not changing. So that tells me that this end is good. So we're not going to have to do anything with that one. So that's a good sign. Now, the thing that we're going to have to do next, though, means it could be this port on this laptop. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to inspect this port on here. And I'm going to use this probe, and I'm just going to kind of wiggle it around, and it feels really loose. Now, it's not going to have any voltage on it, but it feels like it's flexing up and down. And I know, because I looked this up online already, that this is soldered, meaning it has little metal that holds it onto the motherboard. So this is soldered onto the computer, which means that we can repair it or we can replace it if the whole thing is bad. And the good news, it's only like $5. So really easy if you know how to do this. I'm going to switch the camera over now so that we can see a top-down view. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to show you a couple tips on how to do this. There's a lot of screws to take out here, especially around the outside, and some of them you don't want to misplace or mess up and accidentally put a long screw in a small hole. So what we do is take our bit driver, we can put it in here, and what I like to do, the back of all these really good computer ones are all swivels. So you can put your hand on it, you can put your palm in it, and just swivel. Now that one comes all the way out. Now if you're taking this plate off and you know that there's 3 screws in here, sometimes you can set it off to the side gently and keep the 3 screws in it. But there's another trick that we can do, and I'm going to show that to you now. So this one is if you're doing this for the first time, you haven't done a lot of this, take this cardboard box And I'm going to have you cut with the scissors carefully across this line of the cardboard box. Can you do that? Without taking my finger off?
I'll try.
Okay, got it? And if you need to go from the other side, you can switch it around. Does that work?
And there we go.
Okay, so we're going to take this box, save that for parts if we need it. Actually, put that up here. We're going to put some parts in it. I'm going to have you cut one more row along here. Got it?
The other cardboard is in the way a little bit.
Ow!
Oh.
Just kidding. Okay.
Scared me.
So what I like to do is, and it's kind of funny, I draw a little picture of the laptop. And then I go here and I draw where the battery is. Is that coming across okay? Looks like it's doing pretty good. Now, cool trick here. Let's take this battery out. If you push these in and then pull the battery towards you at the same time, it'll come out. You got to do the in first. You got it?
Oh.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So go ahead and put the battery in our little parts holder here that we made. Perfect. Now we're going to start taking these screws out. I'm going to try. Let's move this towards you a little bit more.
Okay.
And then we'll put the screw holder here. And what I like to do is wherever I see the screw, I punch a little hole in this.
Oh.
So now I've taken that one out. I'm going to put it back in this little hole.
Oh, that's cool.
And so now we don't lose our screws everywhere. And you can go ahead and take these two out. And actually, let me do a couple punches real quick. And I'll have you take those screws out. So go ahead in there and you go to the left. Lefty-loosey.
Your left?
The other left. Yeah, this way. There you go. Always the top goes to the left. Counterclockwise. Okay, that one's out. Now sometimes they're magnetic and sometimes they're not. So you gotta be careful depending on what screwdriver you're using. Go ahead and do the next one. Perfect. We'll take the next one. Next thing you're going to want to do is use a fingernail, or you can use the edge of the tool if it doesn't work, and kind of flip up on that with your fingernail first and see if that will pop out. I would try it with your fingernail first.
I have no fingernails.
Okay, can you get it up there with the edge of your thumb? Okay, if not, let's try it with that. So you're going to slide it gently under and just kind of lift. So under and lift. Now you can get a finger under it. Okay, go ahead and pull that plate off. Doctor. We're doing surgery on the computer here. So there's a few things going on here. The hard drive is right here. The memory chips on the computer are here. And you'll see that there's even more screws underneath. Now this is where that second board can come in. So this was the outside of the case. We'll save another one to take pictures of the inside of the case, essentially. That's another really good thing. Did you bring your cell phone with you? No? Okay. That's okay. I've got mine. What we'll do is we can take pictures of how it looks at every step, especially on the inside. So I'll take a picture there. And I'm going to have you take off this screw and this screw right there. There we go. Perfect. Good. And then we'll take that one out. Now those are the ones that are holding the hard drive tray in. The other two, three here, are holding the hard drive to the tray. So I'm going to take that one. Perfect. This is going to be kind of interesting. So again, this is our parts tray, remember? So we'll take this and we're going to pull it that way. So it slides out. Go ahead and take that and put that in our tray over there of parts. Now what's interesting is I don't see any screws right here, but I do see more again under here. You see all those?
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go through and
In
take
here?
all of these little guys here first.
Right
So, yeah, usually all the way around the outside. So go ahead and undo that one. And because that's on the outside frame here, I'm going to make a couple marks. And we're going to put those screws in our tray. I'm just kind of watching where they go.
It takes a while for these to get out.
It does. Look at, and notice that those ones are longer. This is exactly what I was going to point out. So you see these two?
Mm-hmm.
So that screw, if you put it in the wrong one, it could actually damage the computer. So that's why we're doing this, is if we just made a pile of screws and we got them out of order, this is exactly on, especially on one. I've never taken this computer all the way apart. So we're going to take it apart for the first time. So we're going to do that. Good, you got it. Yep. Generally screws that are in the
And
same
this one?
vicinity. Let's go and do this one next right here.
Mm-hmm. So these are the memory chips?
Those are the memory chips, yep, that are in it. And then these screws are holding the outside of the case on. So now it looks like that's loose. Sometimes you can do is sometimes you can lift the plastic a little bit. See if that lets it go. Yep, and if you feel it kind of spinning in the hole there, yeah. Okay,
Like
wanna try it? Let's see. I think you had it. Oh, there was just another thread or two left. So make sure that doesn't come out. It does help to have fingernails or magnets sometimes on these. Okay, next one's here. Go for it. And you can use your palm sometimes to put a little bit of pressure on it. Is that coming out? Okay, let's try again. There we go. Keep going. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Now that one didn't come out automatically, so sometimes if you just wiggle it back and forth, there we go.
Take this whole.
We have to get them all out just to get to that piece. You want to trade off and I'll do one, you do one?
Yeah.
And some of these have had over 30 or 40 screws I've had to go through.
Really?
Yeah, to get to the components. And that's where these really help. Did you get there? Oh, you got it. It's already on the end. Okay, now there's another one right there. Now it's not on this one, but sometimes they even hide them under the rubber feet.
Oh.
Like on a couple of the other ones. It hides on the rubber feet. Okay, that sound usually is coming through. Good. There we go. We got that one. Does it want to come out?
No.
Okay, just gently pull up and it should come out. There it is. Okay, now there's a couple in the field, we call it. That means they're in the middle. There's one there, and one there. Now a lot of times, like ones like this can be the keyboard, like that's the back side of the keyboard, and sometimes there's ones under the keyboard. They're just all over. So we're going to keep popping holes in this. I see two more over here. Okay, good. Did it come out?
Almost.
Perfect.
There we go.
So then we'll put that here. Now that one's going to be interesting because I think I know what that one is already. The computer has a CD DVD drive in it, and that's rare to find these days, actually. Those, and so we're going to take that. Now hold on one sec. There's a piece that can come out now.
Oh yeah.
So that little screw was holding this in. So we're going to put that in our parts tray.
It's going to take a while to put all the way back together.
Yeah, it does. I'm just looking here to see if there's any screws. Sometimes they hide a screw right on the edge there. Doesn't look like it on this one. Got it? Okay, now
And
we need to take those two out. I made holes for those. Now while you're doing that, I'm actually going to open these memory chips and just look underneath to make sure there's nothing underneath them.
Okay.
And I'm going to put the memory chips off to the side. Just real.
It won't damage them if it scratches.
No, they're in a cardboard box. That's a good point. But you do want to be gentle with all of these. So have you do the next one.
What do you think would happen if we put the wrong screws in the wrong places?
I've broken a couple laptops early in my career, and then I learned to do this. Because they'll either break the screen if they're too thick and they're going into the screen area, or something might happen. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 there that are plastic, and so those are inside. So I'm just going to kind of circle them here so that we remember that these are the 4 inside screws, and they're kind of all in a line here, so that should be good. So whenever we're putting this back together, it makes it just so much easier. I made those a little bit different so I know that they're underneath that cover. That's those 2 also. The worst thing you could do would be to drop this and have all the screws go everywhere. So I'm being very careful. Got it. Perfect. Perfect. Now usually on these, underneath the battery where we took it out, there may be some holding the plastic. Do you see any along here? Yep, these really fine ones.
Want me to get those in?
Yep, let's take those out just in case. I'm just kind of looking to see how it comes together.
Oh, these are really tiny.
These are really tiny, so yeah, go ahead, and there's 5 of them. Can you get them, or do you need a smaller screwdriver?
I think I might need a smaller screwdriver.
Okay, so that one trades out with that little one. There you go.
Okay.
Now there's 1, 2,
There we go. We got it.
3, 4, 5. And then there's 2 more at least on the top there.
Got it.
Tiny, tiny one. Got it. And never work on thick carpet. I learned that also. Because if you drop a screw into thick carpet, you can never find it in the carpet.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Okay. Okay. You got it.
Got this one.
I'm definitely glad we did the map here for the whole little screws, because there's a lot of them on this one.
You sure we'll be able to get them in the right places?
Yep, because we have our map where they came from. Any more under the battery after those? Got it.
There's one more right here.
Okay.
Here we go.
Or just write hard drive on these ones, so I know that those were from the hard drive area. And then I'll Take that
So
one. So now we have to do a couple things first. We got to be patient, but one sec. We're going to look and just make sure we did get all those out, and I'm pretty sure we had to take those. So like I said, sometimes they can be underneath the pads of the feet here, but we're going to assume that they're not. One thing I like to do now is to actually open it up and see if the keyboard is loose. Because depending on the model, this one does not look like it has a separate keyboard.
It does need to be cleaned.
It does need to be cleaned. Okay, so this keyboard's not loose on this one. That's a good sign. And I'm looking, and there's a lot of tabs on this side. Those tabs look like they lock in.
So we need to
So it looks like this is going to come out this way. There's a trick that you can use. Do you see that toolbox under there on the very side there? There's the one right above the cell phone one. There's two. Get the one right in between them.
Okay.
That one.
Here we go.
So this is mobile phone surgical
Kit.
repair kit and spare tools and parts. And what I'm looking for are some things that look like guitar picks, just like this. Because this can actually really help you when you're trying to take a case apart here. You can put this in between. So that's what we need to start with. And let's go look for one couple other things. These tools, these prying tools, can also do the same thing, and they can be really useful. So we're going to take a few of those out. And let's see anything else we need. Been looking for that one for a long time. There we go. And I'll take another one of those. And actually, when we work on cell phones, this is a little magnetic tray. It does the same kind of thing, but it's a magnet so that all of your screws stick to it. That could be really useful. Okay. Put that up there. Okay, this is the first time I've ever done this on this computer, so bear with me. We're going to look around and see if we can get this thing to start separating. I believe we've taken all the screws out.
What's that? That silver thing?
That's a cable, it looks like, that runs over here. This thing's put together really well. Another trick that you can use
That's a good sign.
if you don't have a guitar pick or something like that that's thin and plastic. Another one you can use.
Like push down on these?
I think that those are going to come apart once we get the front coming apart. Once we get this area separated, I think that's going to come with us. But another trick you can use is a credit card. So you see that? So now we're coming along the front.
It's breaking.
It sounds like it's breaking, but it's not. So you see I'm going around the edges? All those screws are missing, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm getting a little bit of tension
I do
here.
not want it to break.
Yes. So what do you like to do on this computer?
Right. School.
Do some school, some Zoom calls,
Yeah.
some writing. Yeah, everybody's been doing Zoom calls lately.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Wow.
So hopefully you guys can see that in there.
That's well put together.
Yeah, so these are called ribbon cables. And the ribbon cables go into the board itself and make it a lot harder to do stuff. But you can remove them. You just got to be really gentle.
Those just look like pieces of paper.
They are that thin, you're right. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get this to come off. I'm just trying, these are the hinges themselves, and I'm just trying to see how they clip in.
I really hope you know what you're doing.
Me too. If I don't, we're in big trouble, both of us.
Well, are you sure those aren't just pieces of paper?
Yes, they have little wires in them, little baby wires. And I'm going to show you a trick in here. Actually, I'm going to have you help me. Because it's really poor lighting. This is cap on tape. I'm going to have you record for them on my phone video of this. Okay, hold on 1 second so we don't do vertical video. So go ahead and you can hold that, and I'm going to have you record this next steps real close, Brenna.
Okay.
So as we get in here, you'll see down in here real close, these are actually little hinges. The little black part, if you can see in there, little hinges. And I just flicked one of them up. I just flicked the other one up. Now when I pull out, they're open now. See? So that's the trick there. And when we put them back, now we know that they're only the same size. See that little ribbon cable?
Yeah.
They have to go back in, and then the hinge folds back down. But that's that little hinge that you saw there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the same thing if we were taking this board all the way out, which we might still have to get to. We might have to undo these ribbon cables. So now, oh, it just came out perfect.
Oh,
I was trying to figure out how these hinges worked, and they actually go underneath. So
I honestly thought this would be simpler.
It's some of them are, some aren't. There we go. So if you had to replace your keyboard, trackpad, all that, just what we went through would be what you have to do. And I'm just kind of looking around. Everything looks pretty good. You got some dust in
I
there.
thought it would be way bigger. So that's the thing.
That's the little thing. And you know what? We can take a look at it real close.
Does it look broken?
Well, let's take a look. Actually, yeah, it does.
Oh, dang it.
Just looking at the way that that mounts. So this whole thing is the motherboard or the main board of the computer.
Is it just loose or something?
It's not loose yet. So we're now on to phase 2. So let's go ahead.
Do I still need to record?
No, we can stop recording on that. We are going to go on to the next phase, which is to take a picture. So grab me that phone. Photo. Hold it up real high, and actually I'm going to tell it to turn the flash on just so it's on. So hold it up a little bit higher and then take a picture by hitting that. Yep. And the reason I do that is I like to know where everything was when I start. And you'll notice that this is really dirty. It's never been cleaned before. So we're going to hit this with some air duster before we put it back together. Yeah. Remember you said it was so warm when you were using it?
Yep. Is that why it's like that?
That's why it's so warm. It doesn't get to vent as real well, and so it gets a lot more heat.
Dang it.
Now we know. Okay. So
my mom wasn't taking care of her computer.
She was not taking care of her computer. So I'm looking at a few things.
So how does it look broken? I don't really.
So
it looks like dirty.
I'm going to unplug it just so we can be sure there's no power to it. Okay.
When it's being used, that thing just like
spinning.
Oh. So that's that sound.
This is a fan. Yep. It's a little tiny flat fan. So what I'm seeing is when I'm in here and see how it moves separately from the main board. So when I do this, see how the hinge on it, it moves around?
Oh, the hinge. It looks
so see how this is moving, but this isn't? That means that it's usually broken.
But what about that one thing?
That little tab has probably just been bent from falling or getting twisted.
So it's not an issue?
Not an issue in that one. That's just a little shield. So what I want to do is get to the other side of it because I want to see if the metal's broken. I want to see if that's connected. Now, we may have to do this in 2 parts because, like I said, they sell this piece individually. And we may have to use a tool that will melt those little solder balls and it'll fall out.
We have a soldering tool.
We have a soldering gun, luckily. So what I'm going to do is...
What do we need to do exactly?
Now we need to take this out. We got to go one level. Ahead and hit the back. Oh, sorry, I'll do it. These things reset after 30 minutes, and we are at 31, so it's good. So now what we're going to do is take these out, and we're going all the way around the computer. And if you look for them, there'll be the little black-headed screws. There's one here, right? That's next to the...
Do you want me to do it?
Well, you can. Find the next one if you can.
Right here.
Okay, go ahead. Sometimes they're not really stable when they don't have the battery and everything else in. Got it? Perfect.
And I think that might be it.
That might be it for now? Okay. So now I'm going to show you, this is our little Wi-Fi card, so I'm going to put that back in there. Remember that hinge I was talking about?
Yeah.
They put this tape here so when you're running around with your laptop and your school bag, it doesn't come apart. That little hinge.
It's too big to fit the school bag.
Yeah, this is a big laptop. So what I want you to do is with a fingernail or that tool, just flick this up from the bottom. Try it with a fingernail first if you can, or you're going to do your finger. Can you get the edge of that to flick up? Come on. Here, I'll just try that. So, just like that. Now go ahead and use 2 fingers and just pull it out. You generally don't want to, or the ribbon cable, you can pull this cable side out. See that? That's what we wanted. That's it.
Oh, that's it?
Yep. And then this one right here, we just push it out like that. Helps to have fingernails. Or if you don't, we can use little push tools. You want to use plastic tools if you can help it, rather than the metal tools.
How come?
Plastic tools don't conduct electricity, and they don't generally scratch as easily. So that's your speakers, it looks like.
Oh.
And that's a slot of some sort. Okay. Now there's one big cable here, which is for the screen. Now if we were having some monitor problems, it could be this one. So it comes off in one big pop there.
That's for the screen?
That is for the screen, believe it or not.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to take this out. We're going to lift this up. And we're going to see if we missed anything. It's coming out. Okay. And there's one little one right here I missed. It was for the more power for the screen. Oh, it's the status indicators up here. So, not bad for all of the cables.
This is really dirty.
Yeah, all the dust in there.
Do we need to clean that?
We do need to clean that.
Glad you got to fix it.
There we go. Yeah, so now you can lift this up. We're going to close it gently because we don't want anything to scratch or get pinched.
What's this? It just...
What is that?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a broken screw standoff there. We can super glue that when we're back. So that would be...
Was it already like that?
It was already like
Okay.
that, yeah. No, we didn't do anything there. So
Oh.
go ahead and close this slightly. And now you can set that down over there on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, and set it on the floor.
Dang, it's much lighter.
Much lighter. Okay, this, believe it or not, is the entire laptop. This is the main board of your laptop, and if we flip it over, you're going to see all the stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so that's the fan, that's the chip that does all the calculations, and this is the memory slots. Remember we saw those on the bottom side. This is where your SD card goes in. There's a couple other different things, but I'm just looking around, and one thing I've noticed is this right here. So this thing we said wiggles. Yeah, so this one right here we said is what was probably broken. And I'm just looking really carefully to see as I move it, is that circuit board cracked or is there any other damage to it? Because what you were saying is that you had to
put it in a certain position or push on it.
Yeah, for it to work. And you know what? We are actually going to have to get a replacement. So what I'm thinking is, because it's the centerpiece is loose, and you were kind of right with this outer shell.
Oh, there's something on here.
Yeah, that'll come off. Looks like dinner. Because you were saying this outer shield looked loose, I think you're actually right. I think that's part of the outside, and I think it's all loose in there because it got bent. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this part in our box of parts.
Sure it won't like ruin it if it gets scratched?
It won't ruin it, and we won't lose anything. So what we said is that this is actually broken internally. So I don't see any traces that are broken. There's a little bit of one maybe on there on the board, but just to be safe, it's $5 to get a new one. We don't have to go through all this work again. So we're going to order one of these up, and then we'll do a part 2 of this video. Sound good?
Tomorrow or?
Well, it's going to take a little while longer than that. Amazon, it might take up to a week. Hey, it's John with the Net Guy, and I'm joined by special guest Brenna.
Hi.
And we're back for part 2 of the motherboard repair. So we're going to have to repair this little piece. This is the DC charging port, and on a lot of motherboards you can replace it. It's just a cable, it'll plug into the motherboard. This one is soldered on. This is not going to be an easy one to replace. You can always look up your model of your laptop to find out what kind of connector you have. What was this one doing, Brenna, to catch people up?
It wasn't charging when you put the charger in exactly, and I had to put it in a different position every time to get it to actually charge.
Kind of push it in there. So we took it apart and we figured out that while the board it's still connected to the board, inside we believe it's broken off. So we're going to today replace that. We also notice it's really ugly in here. It's kind of dirty and dusty, and that can cause extra heat, which we don't like. So I'm going to let you do something fun, and that is to blow the dust out of this. The trick here is if you just blow it into the fan, it's going to spin really fast, and all the little tiny bearings in there are going to break or get hurt. So the trick is to put your finger on it, and you get to spray this. Now, when you spray it, it's going to let air out. You just point it at it and you spray it around. This is just a regular can of air duster.
Am I going to hold it down?
I can do that, and you can do that, and it's going to blow dust that way. I'll put these out a little bit. You can see it coming out of those holes there. Okay, stop for a sec. Now I'm going to have you blow the other way. So now what's interesting is if you do this, you scare all your friends in science class. But we're going to blow it the other way here. So this I'm going to do sideways without looks like we got it all. So that's cool. Now we can also just clean out the motherboard in general. You don't want it to have that kind of flat. Make sure all the dust, got a lot of dust on it. There we go.
That's cool.
Feel that.
Cool.
So yeah, it gets cold while it runs. Awesome. So we're done with that. Next thing we're going to want to do is to desolder something. Solder is like hot glue, but it's made out of metal and it's conductive. So this one I can tell is connected by 5 little parts. Now I'm going to use my finger and I'm just going to move this out of the way. So there's 5 little pads. Now, straight to us from Amazon. There's our replacement part. This was $5. So the neat thing about this is if you know what you're doing and you know how to repair things, this laptop repair that would have been over $100, you can do for as little as $5. And another neat thing about it is all of the tools we're going to use here today you can get from Amazon for less than $100. So if you're very capable, we can take this item out of the packaging and then we can replace it. So there's the item. This is the little center where it has the voltage, and this is the grounding pins. So it looks like it will fit just like that. Now to get the hot glue out of here, these things are pretty old. This can actually be a little bit harder to take off the older it gets. And there's another thing, they call it a conformal coating. That's why all of this looks a little kind of gluish, and they put that over to keep this thing from rotting or to have any problems. So we're going to have to desolder it. This is a soldering station. This is a surface mount side here. It has hot air. We're going to set this one to 250 for desoldering, and I've got my soldering iron that I can move over here. Now this is going to get really hot. This will burn you in a second if you touch it, and that's why we're not going to touch that. It's showing what it's coming up to right now. And then this is my toolkit for soldering, surface mount and other. We've got all sorts of cool things in here. That was pretty fast. The neat thing about this one is it's a solder sucker. So you push this down and you push that button and it sucks all the solder out. So I'm going to have you try that out in a little bit.
What are you going to use that for?
That's going to take the hot glue, that solder, that molten metal, and it's going to suck it out of there so that it doesn't make a connection back to it. So if we just got it hot and put it back down...
That won't ruin anything.
Well, let's hope not. If we do it wrong, it will. Now I'm using a silicone mat here to protect the desk, and this is solder sucker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up. I'm going to use the solder sucker and get it nice and warm, and then I'm going to push down and hit the button, and it should suck the metal out of there, the molten metal. Now, you said that that was hot, and it is already. Look how fast it Oh, sorry. So yeah, this is definitely hot.
You taking off the black rubber thing, it won't.
That won't. I just took that out to
Okay.
give us some room, and we can put some back in there. Now, you're not supposed to breathe the vapors from this. So this, if it melts on here, I have to get this one warmer, it looks like. There we go. So that's smoke we don't want to necessarily inhale. Okay. So now, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to work really closely. See how it's heated that up?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to work more than about 10 seconds in that one area. Nope. Try
That's
it here.
hot glue?
Yeah, I call it hot glue, but it's basically molten metal. It's liquid metal, kind of like a transformer.
I don't think anyone watches that anymore.
Nope, so I'm going to go ahead and do some more of this. I'll put some fresh solder on. And I want it to be hot, but I want it to work quickly, right? So I'm going to make it a little, just a ball of solder, dab. And I want it to get the solder that's on this motherboard to warm up. And I put a little bit of fresh solder on there because sometimes that's what it takes. There it's going, it's starting to go, but it's definitely not happening fast. Okay, so that's our 10-second limit. We don't want to work on that for too much longer. So I'm going to get this.
Is it all good?
Nope. I'm going to have to get this warmer.
Wow, that really melted.
Yeah, it's melting faster now that it's hot.
Ooh,
Let's see, it left a little bit on there.
looks like sulfur.
It does, and yeah, we definitely don't want to breathe those fumes. So now I got it to melt and did not suck it in there, so not fast enough. So you got to get it nice and warm.
And
Oh, did not like that.
almost.
Go, nice and warm. There it goes.
Screw this up, it's all over.
Yeah, pretty much. So that actually works pretty good. So it's starting to come out there.
All
we
of
got
it
a
or
little
just
bit.
some of it?
A little bit of it. So then this one is the next one we're going to do. This is the positive prong. We're just trying to get that solder that's around the base to release. There we go. It's hot enough, and there's a little bit sticking up. Get it hot again, and see that? It's actually coming out.
That's cool.
So it's making that little hole there,
It looks like
and
there's still stuff. Is that just the...
well, there is, and so we're going to have to work our way around to take this one out. Now we don't want to work too much in the same spot.
Or else it might damage it.
Yep. So we're going to move around to different ones. Again, I'm going to try this one on the end that was being real tough for us. Okay, see how it's getting loose? You can actually, when you hit the button there, get rid of
That
some.
work?
We did get some. Yep.
Oh, yay. Ugh, smells horrible.
Yeah. Try not to breathe that stuff in. It got quite a bit of it. I'm going to put just a little tiny bit back on just to make it conduct. Now, like you have a glass of ice water or whatever, and you put your hand in it, and it's really, really cold. But if it was just ice cubes, it wouldn't be as cold. But water causes conduction. And that's the same thing that we're doing here. Is a little tiny bit of solder we put on there helps the heat from the soldering iron. Another tool we can use. Now, if you're having a problem getting that in there, this is a kind of thing. You know how, like, if you get your sweater wet, it starts to go across the sweater? This is called Solder Wick. And the cool thing about this stuff is that it will pull the solder out with that same, it's called capillary action.
Oh, cool.
So we take this, and if we can't get it, we just put this on here.
You just thought of it now.
Well, sometimes it's easier on these components to do. Solder wick, sometimes it's easier.
Is it coming out?
Not really. It takes a lot of heat.
You want me to turn the...
No, it's just getting there. It's warming it up. Let's make the pad a little bit bigger. That can help.
Don't get the new thing.
It's starting to pull it out. We've still got to be really gentle about this heat, because if we put too much heat in the board, those little lines that are all over the board, those are traces, those are little baby wires. And if we put too much heat on this board, the little wires that make up those lines can actually lift off of the board.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, we don't want that. And so once those lift off of the board, we can't get them back down. We'd be in big trouble. Okay, there you go. So that's actually pretty good. You can see that it's almost pulled it all out of that one.
Really?
Back piece, how it didn't come with it.
Yeah.
It was broken off right at that back plate.
Ooh.
So that's why it wasn't working right. So now we're going to try to pull it down out of here. So let's do some cleanup work, and we're going to clean off those pads, and we're going to try to take out any of the solder. Because I pulled the piece out from here, I'm going to solder it from the bottom.
Okay.
And this is where it's going to get interesting, because we want it to be perfectly flat. Move the other solder tip out of the way. So we want it to be as flat as possible. I'm going to put a little buffer under there so it's got something to push against. And this is where you need like 17 hands to solder.
Does it like suck in dust from the outside? And that's why it's not dust from
The computer does from the bottom, yeah, that's where that dust came from. Was from desks and carpets and whatever else you were running it on.
My bed?
Your bed, yes, that's the worst place to run a computer because it will actually get the heat from it. There we go, all done.
That's it?
Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to want to go back through and reassemble this. Now, one of the things that's going to make this easier is this screw map that we made before, right?
Thank goodness we did.
Yeah, so this one is the screws that go on afterward. Right, those are the ones that go on the
outside.
The outside or the inside? Those are the ones that go on the hard drive. Sorry, these are the ones that go in the battery area.
Which
These
is
are the rest of them.
inside, outside. Which one is?
This one's going to be inside. So this one here, underneath,
Glad we got that.
is where that
Oh, okay.
was, and the fan. So now we're gonna need to grab the pieces from right there. Jeez.
I said, Jesus help us.
Okay, keyboard's gonna go on second. Yep.
It's okay. It's still good. Ooh, we need to probably clean the screen too.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's an issue right now.
Yep. So this is the connector. Now you found yesterday a broken, or the other time you found a broken stud there. And that's where that screw goes in. So we're just going to have to be real careful when we reattach this, that we reattach
Probably not
that one
right yet.
properly. And so this should now fit in there. Does that look right? Okay. That's right.
Do we need it? So, when it's like that, there's a little bit of the outside showing, or the
That's normal.
program showing. Okay.
Yep, that's how it goes. Okay, so now we're going to put those connectors that I was telling you about earlier that we were taking out. So,
Those tiny wires.
so yeah, we flick them up, and we slide this in, and then we can clip them back down. We won't do too many of those until we actually have this thing screwed down a little bit. So to do that, we're going to pull out that
Which
screwdriver
one do
again.
we need?
We need the inside screws, which are set
These ones.
here. And you see how we oriented them that way? Now what's interesting here is some of these
can
are
just hold
empty.
it.
True. Let's leave them there for now. Some of these are empty holes, you see?
Yeah.
And some of them actually have something to thread to. So what we want to do is we want to put the ones that have something to thread into,
So it would be like.
yeah, along the outside. So this one, let's start with that near your battery. And that was actually on this side.
It was? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to go over there.
Are you sure?
Yep. And this one goes towards the hinge.
Righty tighty.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey. There's righty tighty. Okay. Now, when we tighten them, I don't tighten them really hard because they're going into soft plastic usually.
Yeah.
And then this one's going to go over here. And I'll let you go ahead and do that one. It's right.
Tell me when to stop, please.
Just be careful because that tip's sharp. We don't want to scratch the stuff, but keep going down. Okay, now it slips a little bit. So what you do is you push more pressure down there. Okay, that's good. And now let's see, we've got a few more. There's 3 right here that I see. And I see one hole here. I don't see other ones. So let's go ahead and put this connector on. That's the screen, so if we were having...
There's this.
Oh, you know why? Because we don't have the Wi-Fi card in.
Yeah, we don't.
So let's take this one out, and I'll have you put that in while I get the Wi-Fi card. Now we made a box of parts, right? So
That's
go
what I
ahead.
was looking for.
This has got our various parts and pieces in it. Oop.
That won't damage anything, right?
I don't think it will.
Is this good?
So let's test it. Yep, that's pretty good. We don't want it to fall out. Okay, now this one, your Wi-Fi has 2 antenna little ports. Those are tiny little antenna holes.
And we need
so
to
what we
connect them to
do
those
is
wires.
we put this in at an angle, and then we hold it down, and to keep the thing from falling back out, they secure it with 2 screws. So we're going to take one screw and put it in there. Now I missed that, so we're going to go in here.
Yep.
And it's slightly magnetic on this screwdriver,
Yep. That's good.
which can help. And let's go faster on that one. And then that one.
What time is it?
I don't know. Okay. Now this one, you got to be very careful when we put these on. We're going to go in here, and these get pushed down and connect the Wi-Fi. So that one's going to connect straight on. It'll be flat when it's done. You know it's right when it's flat. That one's on and that
Are we
one's
going to
flat.
test the computer after?
We are going to test the computer later tonight. This is another connector that needs to get put on.
Do you think Mom's going to be mad at you if we mess this up?
I think she will understand that we did a lot of work.
But she'll still be mad.
No, we'll fix it. We'll get it going. Okay, so we've got all those screws, and then the hard drive was the last one.
Okay. Wait, there's 2 more.
Those ones are going to be on the next pass.
Okay.
So those ones are good for now.
We are sort of halfway done. I don't know.
Okay, now this one's in there. There's 2 more of these. Okay, so the next part is the keyboard, which is very dirty. I don't know how that happened.
We need to clean that.
We will clean that. We want to make sure that all of our connectors are down, that our Wi-Fi cables are not going to get pinched.
Is the thing that was the stud thingy good?
Yeah, we're going to leave that out. And we're just going to know that that one's not going to be connected.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
We really need to clean this computer.
We do.
Do we have like alcohol wipes or something?
We don't. They're in such high demand right now.
Of course they are. Because
Okay.
everyone needs cleaning supplies.
So this is that one hard part here. Remember we talked about this?
Yeah, the wires.
So the wires fit flat for the keyboard and the trackpad. This is really common. So now that one's in, and I push down.
Just gonna pray that this doesn't break.
And push this in. Push down. Good. And as we set that
We are
back.
close to. I don't think we're close to.
Not quite close to done, but we are close to having a much better chance of putting this back together. Now we come back over to here, and this is where this map's going to become really handy. So I'm going to have you start screwing these screws in, and some people will put them all in, and then we'll start to screw them in.
Do I have to have a limit? Like, do I go all the way in?
We're going to have you do all of the battery ones.
No, like, am I allowed to go tight with the...
Yes,
Okay,
but not
yes.
too tight. Now watch this. So take this one, right? And some of these may not be magnetic, but take this one, put it right there. And if you need to use your finger to hold it in, you can do that.
No, I just need to put them along the side.
Yep. And this one, the battery ones took a smaller one, if we remember.
Yep.
So let's have you do all of the battery ones now, and those are the smaller fill-up size.
Sort of. I guess. Not really.
Getting
almost.
closer. Done. I'll show you a trick here. So this is the CD drive. Comes in here.
That's it.
There's one screw that goes here to hold it in. Got it?
What about the... There's one in there. Is the screw all the way in? I should know what it is. Should
Okay.
fit.
That's going to, and there's 3 more. How many screws do we have left here? 3, 4. This one had that broken piece of plastic, so we're going to keep that out because we're not going to have that rattle around in there. But we got to do a couple other little things. We're going to take
It's not
this.
going to damage anything, right? It's not
No,
going to make it all
shouldn't.
weird.
And let's go here.
We've been stalling for a week to do this.
That's true. Okay, so now we're going to put this cover back on.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Got to put the hard
You
drive
can
in.
just break it.
No. forgot to put your hard drive back in.
Well, me?
So I know I did. So this one goes here, remember?
Yeah.
Now there are 4 screws that go in here.
Aren't those like screws in?
This one looks like it's through the top here.
Screws in here.
Yeah, give me 1 second. So remember this little piece here?
Mm-hmm.
Is the hard drive? There are 2 screws that need to go in there.
Where?
One goes right here. It's this size. Yep. And you got the other one?
Where does it go?
It goes right there. Right there. I'm going to cover this hole so you don't put it in there.
Oh, dang it, almost.
Okay, use your magnetic screwdriver and lean back a little bit so they can see what you're doing.
Help me.
You got it.
Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. The screw just doesn't like me.
There you go.
Oh. Get in. Oh, dang it.
Okay. And go ahead and put that one in there.
Where? This one?
Yep.
Is it good?
We're doing good.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, now we get to put that piece of plastic that I was going to put on too early. Our hard drive's installed.
And we're gonna put some of the screws on. Because
Now, we haven't put the battery in yet because that's the moment of truth. That's when we're going to finally tell
isn't that
if we did it right.
screws?
So there's
that are-
one. Go ahead and put that one in.
Okay.
Okay.
No. And any more?
Last one.
No. Oh, yes. There we go.
Okay, moment of truth. I will let you put the battery in.
Come on,
Yeah, slide it in all the way.
Is
Okay,
that good?
now
Yes.
let's see if we hooked everything up properly.
Hopefully, because I really need to use this computer.
Praying,
Yes, it made a little light.
and nice. Okay, good. Now don't give them your password,
I'm
by
not,
the
I'm
way.
just gonna press
Just saying.
Sort of.
Trying. Okay, so go ahead and tap that. Now, right there.
27%.
Brenna, you ready to try it and see if this was the problem? And charging! High five! Good job! We took it completely
This has
apart.
been happening for like a year now.
We took it completely apart and we put it all back together. Very good job. So Brenna, that was a lot of work. But we made it easier. We did a couple things. We made the map of where all the screws go. I have never taken this computer apart before. I've never seen the inside of it.
It's a first for both of us.
First for both of us, but because we use tools like this, because we were very careful, because we learned how to open up some of those ribbon cables, we were able to replace it. We replaced the bad part that was $5, and for $5 you've got a fully functional laptop. So very good job. High five.
You did most of the work.
No, you did a lot of this, but appreciate you being on the show. And if you guys are experiencing any problems like this is a real common problem with laptops, is to have the charging port break. It's not that hard of a
Or
change.
the screen breaking.
Or the screen, and a lot of the steps that we did you could do for replacing the screen. But yeah, if you have a charging port problem, take a look and find out if it's a plug-in one. If it's a plug-in one, it's usually a lot easier. The soldered ones are doable, as you saw. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, maybe some tools. All the links for the project that we just did and some of the tools that we used will be in the video description. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Okay, there you go. You did it, Brenna. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of my video. If you want, do me a solid, hit the like button down there, and if you didn't like it, tell me why in the comments. I would love to help you out. If you do need some tech help, you can hit us up on the Discord channel, links in the description below. And why not check out one of these other great videos? It's okay, I'll wait.